All right, the Mercury Project is shining bright today as the new solar system is coming, and the old system is about to get that Big Bang Theory about where you all came from and where we're going to be going. And the Karoline Leavitt, that press secretary, is basically that speaker on that house that speaks for the president, but it's telling you to leave it. And that Savior is all before you as the TikTok 119 9/11 is here unwrapped, and the serpent is going to be cast down to the belly, the ding 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 today, and we're hitting at 88 miles an hour as the doomsday clock hits 89 yesterday, and RFK is at the HHS today, which is the 8819, and that's the 8889 on the speedometer for that tachometer, the tick-tack-tock, and Trump had the tic-tacs. So, the Leavitt and Karoline, that's tied to the hook, line, and sinker, Twitter, X app, all these things has the sinker as he carried that empty sink in, and they basically have a rack system for the lab rats of America, and they're going from one lab to another lab, and the old lab has to be done away with, and we have to go through and pick out all the good breeding stock and those types of things. So that's where the perfect storm's been laid out. The AI, there's different AIs, and it's going to be the battle of AI that's mentioned in the Bible, and that's the Joshua for the Yeshua, and Yeshua is the gold high tops for Trump that he brought to you, and then also it's for Kanye. He's been doing the Adidas and he released his shoes, but he's also tied to the Ye Has Not. And did he or did he not? We're going to see all that stuff. So the Diddy ties to the marriage and the bridegrooms and that stuff coming for the hard part and the Combs, and the Big Bang chops for the Harris and the Harry. All right, the Harry and Meghan stuff I mentioned long ago. We're going to see some of these fruits come out. But the Karoline Leavitt, leave this world behind. We're given a window into heaven. That's your phone. That's your computer screens. The photon is tied to God. The photon has the pH, the planet Hollywood. It's not good or bad. It's just taking us from one time to the other. And the image that's been given life is this so-called Satan or Jesus or Lucifer or Illuminati or all this stupid shit to divide the light. And now that the light is coming into full spectrum and full view as we're going into the second day of the millennium, and the firmament is divided, and the fur is tied to the beast man, but also tied to the pineal gland, where you're taken into the fire, and your pine cone, the pineal, is opened up, and the fluoride is projected on you, and the fluoride is where the Satan is cast down to the ground, and all those other things that we've gone over. The day Satan rises up, you realize that your IQ is of a beast man, a monkey, a walking monkey, and all these other things that's going on as you're taking into that evolution, that EV, the electric vehicle time frame, which is a crossover period. But as you're all taken to the cross, the Karoline Leavitt, the carols, the Christmas carols, it's all being played right now. We've been seeing a fast condensing of time and things I've told you in the past, all this past week, and things the wife has told you on her channel. But all these things are going in, and it's breaking open now, y'all. Okay, so you're in the 2025, the Christmas spirit, the 11th hour of the 9/11, and then you go into the 24 hour of the 9/11, which is this year's anniversary, and then that takes you into the 25, which is that hour that carries over to the 26, which is the alphabet time frame and all those other things, and it ties into your and sign and DNA sign to the 27, and all these things go from the physical clock we're in to the 9/11 clock that we're going into in the future or whatever. But this is where it's all like collapsing in on itself as we're going from spiritual to carnal. As we go from spiritual to carnal, the light passes through men, and we're in a stage now where it's passing through men in a broad spectrum as far as through the names, and that's where you got that so-called secret speaker saying, leave it, leave it, leave it. All right. So, the Chinese biolab leak the tuberculosis, that's tied to the lungs and inhale, exhale, and that's tied to one of the things we used to have to get tested for in the cosmetology, cosmos. The cosmos is tied to the astronomy and the space and all those things, but the millennial reign, let's get into this real quick, because she is 27 now. She's born in 97, and the millennial reign can, depending what sites you look at or whatever, can range from 94 to 97 or whatever, but she's basically in a cusp, all right? And if the millennials are 28 right now, she's going to be 28, because when you type in Google and you ask what age is millennials, it will tell you 28 to 31. Okay, so that means they're turning 29 this year, according to that Google search. So if they're turning 29, 28 is a crossover period. Okay, so since it's a crossover period, people who are 27, 28, and 29 would be on that cusp. And since it's on a cusp, it's a connection point. That's where you had the millennial reign, the leash being opened up by the trump, the thumb, and then put onto the new collar or new lead or whatever we're putting on, whether it be a horse, a ferret, a dog, a cat, or whatever. And we know that certain animals work better with certain leashes, and then some are more wild than others. Some don't work with a leash at all. So this is where, are you that dragon that you can't ride with a leash? You actually have to take some hair or whatever they got and then plug it into the dragon, and then it all gets intertwined with the dragon, okay? And then the dragon has been on this earth giving birth as men in a way, because we all used to grow up. Some of us were the dragon, some of us were the tiger, some of us were the red snakes, whatever your little group of boys that you played with or girls that you played with, whatever y'all named your group, okay? So that's kind of like a symbolic spirit, or spirit acting through men to tell you like where you're connected at or whatever, okay? And then some people never played dragons or was the group dragon or whatever kind of thing. So and the dragon is to come and is not. The dragon is the one who has the left and right gathered on its wings. It's the one that's controlling the show in one way, shape, or form. So you want to be tied to the dragon, and they're making you scared of the dragon. This is where China worships the dragon and such. And we could also see a back space and time to where we've had the AI and computer and all these things before, and the Renaissance would be like this. What we think of as the Renaissance and what we've been taught would be what we're going into, where man is all connected as one, and our knowledge is like increased, and all those types of things. Hit a curb. But either way, this Leave This World Behind, the perfect storm, the lab leak, the AI, the frequencies, the Iran, the subs off the coast, all this, it's all set up. And you got to have the red dawn in there before you. All right. And the red dawn is also the ray for the ray of light and the light education that's coming for these people. All right. And the red is tied to the Red Sea divide and the beast of the sea. And these are all tied into aspects of man and such. So this is where the red on one side of your brain and the blue is the other side, and together they create the purple. But that red is going to be divided. And that's where the Moses comes in and divides the Red Sea and stuff. And then you're just like, your temples are broken inside, and you realize, what do we do? And all this other stuff. Okay, so it says you're created perfect. And this is also how the so-called treatments and all these things, it's working in reverse as far as creating that master race or that perfect race or whatever kind of thing. Okay, with the blue eyes. Because the blue is connected to the beast of the earth, who has the one head and 2 horns. The beast of the sea, the red, has the 7 heads and 10 horns. So that's going to be a lot more destruction when it actually takes place in the temple. And the rib taken out and covered with the flesh, nucleic acid acid, ACID. Okay, this is all going to tie into why we need the real ID. The real ID is tied to the Israel ID, the Israel ID. All these things are right in front of you, folks. Okay? So, if you don't understand, I really can't help you. Okay? You just got to go back and detox yourself and defrequency yourself and whatever you want to call it and start over. Okay? Otherwise, good thing is you get to be born again if you can't figure it out this time. And try again. Okay? So, this is just the first start of this light creation or whatever. Okay? This thing that runs this machine, thinking, always on, always running this heart, lungs, or whatever, even when you sleep. That power lives forever. That power connects you to God. That power connects you to that sun that's inside of all of us. And we are all walking, talking earth systems. All right? We are going into a new time of how we know ourselves. And it's going to give us back our power.